Hey, man. Yeah, we'll get the bar in. Make sure it's the right side. He's good. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We don't have a cue sheet.
We begin on page 128, Hinei Ma Tov, How Good It Is to Be Together. Hinei Ma Tov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei Ma Tov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tov, ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbos.
We turn to page 120 for our Shabbat candle blessing, and it's a great honor to welcome the Huguenot family to the Bima.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehatlik ner Shel Shabbat.
For those who are able, we rise together for a Kiddush, the top of page 123. That's a big pour, man.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher litziyat Mitzrayim kivanu bakarta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'achava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim.
Is it good? Yeah. Is it real?
Yeah.
Okay. We turn to the top of page 124 in our prayer book as we read together. We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built a synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout a long history and their endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding unto them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Wearing us out the flaws within our human hearts, the hardships of the week, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayers. We turn to page 138, L'Chadodi.
L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor medibur echad Hishmiyanu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem ultiferet v'litila L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'neilcha Ki mekor habracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'asei b'machasham b'techila L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori shir daberi kevod Adonai halayich nigla L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela.
We rise together, greet Shabbat HaMelka.
Boi v'shalom ateret mala Gam besimcha uv'tzohola toch emunei Am segula Boi chala L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela L'Chadodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela.
The bottom page 145. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. We stay right here at Chetzi Kaddish 144.
Yitgadal ve'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach yirutei ve'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chay dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala u'vizman kariv ve'imeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudusha B'richu le'ela min kol bichata ve'shirata ושפחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא ואמרו Amen.
We rise together, 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada-da-da-da, 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 yada-da-da-da. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam ba'ed. Le'olam ba'ed. Yada-da-da-da, 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 yada-da-da-da.
Top of page 148.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim. Uvit vuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakokavim, b'mishmeroteim barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei hoshech, v'hoshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom, umevi layla, umavdil ben yom, uvein layla, Adonai sevaot shemo. El Chai v'kayam tamid, yimloch alenu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim.
Amen. Yasher koach.
150.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochveinu uvkumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach medivrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha, leolam ba'ed, ki heim chayenu, be'orech yameinu, ubahem nehgeh yomam v'layla. Be'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto leolam va'ed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Asher koach.
We read together the top of page 157. Standing on parted shores of history, we so believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Our song of Herut, our song of freedom, our Michal Mocha, 158.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot Hosei fele, Nora tehilot Hosei fele, Adonai meloch leolam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha mokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai meloch leolam va'ed. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da.
Top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we might lie down in peace, rise up, waiting to do your will. Our Hashkivenu is right here, 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
The top of page 163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable, without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Vishamru 162.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam, beini ubein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam le'olam, ki sheishat yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, ubayom hashvi Shabbat ma'inafash.
Together, the middle of page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. For those who are able, we rise together for our tefillah 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Hozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei metim atah Rav lehoshia, Morit hatal, Mechalgel chaim bechesed, Mechayei metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayei emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue together at the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may the day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh had Shabbat. We continue on the next page with our Ritzeh.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu Be'amcha Yisrael Utfilatam be'ahava tekamel Tehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael amecha el karov lechol Kore'av penei elav hantecha v'choneinu shefoch ruchacha aleinu v'techazena eineinu b'shuvcha le'tzion berachamim baruch atah Adonai Hamachazir Shechinato Letzion
The top of page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Make a temperate reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha טסים לעולם, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. בטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for private prayer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, be'al kol Yisrael, me'imeru, me'imeru. Amen.
At this moment in our service, we think of those in our community, those especially who are in need of healing of body or spirit. We think of Sophia Berry, Mary Lynn Bates, Margaret Bell, Arit Cohen, Lydia Cutler, Joseph Fleming, David Hamrick, Arsen Kalavov, Sydney Land, Robin Lazarus, Marilyn Leeds, Rush Lishkoff, Richard Magnati, Michal Mizerowitz, Stephen Muss, Ron Ostreicher, Chad Petrowski, Malka Bat Rachel, Keisher, Jerry Sklar, Alan Unger, and Kelly Winston. For those who are with us tonight, if you're thinking of a loved one, a friend, someone who's in need of healing of body or spirit, and you wish to share the name out loud, we invite you either by rising or as my eyes meet yours. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts, our Misha Baruch, our prayer for healing, middle of page 371.
Misha Baruch Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and to let us say Amen. Mishem beirach imotenu Mekor habracha la'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and to let us say Amen.
It's okay. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
It's good to be back. We spent the past couple of weeks in beautiful northern Michigan, and my family attempted to make it a true vacation for me, and there was one rule that I tried to follow from them, that I was not allowed to look at my email. So I was watched heavily, and I may have snuck an email out to you, and I'm admitting it now, but I'm confident Rachel nor my parents are watching as we speak. So that's the first disclaimer. But second, the Hebrew word for vacation, hafsakah, take a break. I think for Jews today, even if you're going on a true vacation, a true nourishment of the soul, I think it's hard to get away, and I think that's twofold. One, as I look out in this congregation, most of us experience the challenges of the human condition. Illnesses, a recent loss, paying our bills, our expenses, preparing for a life cycle, preparing to go back to school. Something's always on our mind. And second, as a collective Jewish community, whether here in Birmingham, in the diaspora, or throughout the world, our hearts are still centered on what's going on in Israel and what's going on regarding the plague of anti-Semitism in the world. You know, being away in Charlevoix, Michigan, we still watch the news. And it's still painful, it's brutal. But nevertheless, we are obligated to find a way to keep on living. So upon my return back home here in Birmingham, some members of my staff and some funny congregants asked me, did I finish writing my high holiday sermons? The answer is yes. I'm just kidding, no. But I believe a rabbi should give a preview to what he or she will talk about. And I imagine that most rabbis will have one of the most difficult sermons that they will write regarding October 7th. But as I started thinking as to what I wanted to talk about in less than 2 months, I looked at the book of Devarim, the first parashah in the 5th book of Moses. And these are Moses' final homilies to the people of Israel. In a way, it's saying goodbye. And I know that families on October 7th weren't able to say goodbye on that day. But outside of Israel, we think about the notions of second chances. What if Moses was able to go back in time and not get so frustrated at the waters of Meribah where he could enter the land of Israel with his people. I think all of us think about second chances. I look at this Torah portion, and I look at the high holidays. If you could go back in time, what would you say to yourself? What would you say to yourself after you experience a regret or a failure? And finally, as we begin the themes towards the high holidays and this final book of Moses, with the notion of second chances and dealing with our failures, how can we make our lives more meaningful, more enjoyable, happier, despite our own suffering and despite the difficulty that's within our midst? And Devarim gives us an answer. And our great rabbis from 2,000 years ago, from 1,000 years ago, 200 years ago, and even today, we wrestle with the book of Deuteronomy. Not so much with its strong theology, but rather, why a repetition? Why a constant reminder of the laws that we are supposed to follow? In Latin, Deuteronomy means second law. Devarim or Elu Devarim, I'm looking at our Israelis, we could call it things, or maybe words. These are the things that the people of Israel will do as they establish their own identity in the land of Israel. So one of my greatest rabbis of studying, Rabbi Hirsch, the father of modern Orthodox Judaism, he has a beautiful explanation regarding what Deuteronomy means to our people. That this is where the Israelites would forge a new life in Israel. And the toughest challenge as they enter Israel, that they would no longer have the cloud of glory, God's protection above them. They'd have difficulty seeing the miracles within their midst. And when they entered the land, the word is amal. They had to toil. They had to work hard. They had to plant. They had to harvest. They had established courts and judges and a governing system. They would have to feed the poor and be there for the needy. And my favorite here, teaching by Hirsch, they would need to forge special relationships, especially in a community, being together. So when the people of Israel heard this book, this was a reminder to them that living in Israel, or as we can say today, being Jewish, is a challenge. And sometimes we don't see miracles, and sometimes we don't feel that protection. But we are obligated to keep on living. And the most important teaching about Devarim is being together. This congregation knows me. You know I love studies and data. The greatest medicine that we can take is being together, especially at synagogue. The Sinai moment was so powerful at us because we were all together. And as we move forward, it's our job to figure out how we can do that again. And part of that is a celebration. Maimonides teaches us that there's no luck for Israel. or I hate to say it, to my mother or grandmother, blessed memory, nothing is b'sher. Things are because they are. But just sometimes, maybe just a little, we get that meant to be. We get to figure out a way where God's given us a sign that just maybe things will be okay. We get to recapture that Sinai moment and celebrate what we have to offer. For the past year, Noah and Sebastian, I want you guys to come on up. Noah and Sebastian reached out to me a year ago, figuring out that Judaism was going to be the path that brought them happiness and a path as to how to live a new life. They've been coming to services nearly every Shabbat. They read all my books within a month. They worked with Debbie Wytrack to master the Hebrew alphabet. And post-October 7th, they have been so vocal of being part of Am Yisrael to strengthen our community. One of the greatest joys that Canon and I, we love when people return to the Jewish people. I don't like calling it a conversion because it's too medieval. But our Hasidic masters say that when God gave us the Torah, once again in the book of Deuteronomy, every single person in the world was there. But sometimes one's religious soul would travel to different religious traditions. And tonight, as we welcome this fifth and final book of that beautiful return, we are so blessed to have both of you return to the Jewish people. We ask the congregation to rise as we say a special blessing for such two incredible people replenishing our ranks.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and forever protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine upon you and forever be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shalom.
When moments are difficult, when you face that adversity, may God's face forever bring you up and forever bring you peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
May it be God's will. Mazel tov to the both of you.
Mazel tov.
Aleinu remains standing, 586.
עלינו לשמח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Abe Abrams, Ida Allenberg, Louis Allenberg, Ira Beck, Beverly Kogan, Lazar Kushmeriu, Dorothy Weinstein Dubowski, Bob Engel, Lee B. Friedman, Isidore Friedman, May G. Friend, Patty Glickman, Janet Goldfarb, Fanny Goldfarb, Bertie Goldstein, Morris Herskovitz, Mary Spence Eisenberg, David Jaffe, Elvin Cantor, Essie Kirkle, Harry M. Cohn, Samuel Coplin, Ida B. Levin, Francis M. Levine, Pauline Berman Malkov, Daniel Harry Markstein III, Harry Markstein Jr., Morris Marlowe, Saul Medelson, Louis Matloff, Sam Mayer, Josephine McWaters Alexander, J. George Mitnick, Morris Munsky, Lorenzo Music, Martin Harold Nelson, Doris Ortel, Ben N. Perlman, Eli Perlman, Eric Ryan Polk, Myron C. Rosenthal, Richard Allen Routman, Abraham Shapiro, Esther Siegel, Stanley T. Single, Arnold Singer, Abram Mitchell Skyer, Yetta Glazer Sokol, Lee Unger, Raymond L. Webb, Celia Weinstein, Muriel Weisberg, Joe B. Wright Jr., and Alexander Selden. Our hearts open condolences of those who passed away during the month of Shoshim these 30 days. Gene Sugarman Denson, Arnold Shyland, William Hugenine, and Bob Marcus. May their memories forever be a blessing. If it is your custom to rise for the Morris Kaddish, we invite you to do so on page 598. Yikadal Vikadash Shmei Rabbah, Bilma Divrach Yotei Vamlich Malchutei, B'chayachon of Yomechon, U'chayei Kol Beit Yisrael, B'agalau Izman Kariv Yimru,
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Alamei Almaya, Yibarach V'hishtabach V'hipa'ar V'hitromam V'hitnaseh, V'itadar V'italev V'italal Shmei Dekusha,
Brichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram b'yalma v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen.
Osei shalom b'imromav, hu yasei shalom, aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael
We conclude with Hatikva 678.
Kol balev afenima nefesh Yehudi homia ulfatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo abda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיותם חופשיים בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיותם חופשיים בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Please join
Shabbos.
us downstairs for our oneg.
I thought you were requesting something.